Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze?
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come baby come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Hey, YAOK, it is just me, producer Matt here, and we're doing kind of a little mini bonus episode catch-up with a past guest. We have Lance Rubin back on the show. Hello, Lance.
Hey, Matt. I'm so glad to be back.
And we're going to be talking about your new book for 16 Forever.
Yes.
Which I'm very excited to dive into, but... You know, you first came onto our radar because your brother podcasted at Geekscape for many, many years. Dustin.
Indeed.
Who's here on the call.
Surprise.
And Dustin informed me that the audiobook for this is basically a family affair because it's you two and your wife, Katie.
Yes.
All doing this. How did this happen? So, Katie, welcome as well to YAOK.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, this was my dream cast for the audiobook, and we were able to make it happen. Katie is a very experienced, talented, superb audiobook narrator. Dustin is obviously a superb podcaster and superb voiceover talent himself. So once I realized the book was, it's dual, it's actually trio POV, but it's mostly in the POV of this main character, Carter Cohen, and his one-time girlfriend, Maggie Spear, and then his brother, Lincoln Cohen, pops in too. So once I realized, like, oh my gosh, I've narrated my past audiobooks with male protagonists because I was and still am an actor as well as a writer. Katie has narrated my last book, Crying Laughing, which I talked about on YAOK.
And I loved it. Picked it up pretty much immediately after you were on the show and absolutely adored it. I think I emailed you just to let you know how much I adored it.
I was so delighted that you read it and that you enjoyed it, which is amazing. So Katie narrated that audiobook. So then when it came time to do this one, I was like, oh, well, I would love for Katie to read Maggie and for me to read Carter. And then I was like, oh my gosh, Dustin could play Lincoln. And so I pitched that to the audiobook producer. She was like, yeah, it sounds great. So I didn't know if I'd have to like make a big pitch or be like, no, they're both so talented. Here's what they do. But it was very simple and straightforward. She was like, yeah, I think that makes my life easier. I love the idea of this. So
I think that's just such a cool concept right there. But let's talk about the book for a little bit. So 16 Forever, where did the idea for 16 Forever come from?
The idea, so I always find myself writing about time, and I love the idea of playing with time. And I also love time loops, but okay, let me jump and just say that there's two big things I saw when I was 5 that inspired kind of the idea for this ultimately. One thing I saw was the 1960 televised Peter Pan musical starring Mary Martin. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
And that was something I watched as a kid and was very horrified when I got to the end of the musical. And Peter Pan comes back from Neverland, pops in on Wendy, and Wendy is an adult now. And Peter's like, come on, we'll go to Neverland again. And Wendy's like, I can't, Peter. I'm an adult. I don't do that anymore.
I'm an old lady, Peter.
Yeah, I'm old, Peter. And then Wendy's daughter, Jane, pops her head down the stairs. Is like, hey, well, what's going on? And Peter's like, oh, I'm Peter. And very quickly it kind of unravels. Like Jane's like, I'll go. And then it's like, okay, I'm going now. And it's ostensibly supposed to be a happy ending, but I found it really quite horrific. It was like, Wendy can't go now? Like, we just watched a whole musical with Wendy and Peter forming this bond, and now, like, that's it? Just Jane's
they're walking around Neverland singing their racist songs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Now Jane's going to sing the racist songs instead. So that was one, and it really stuck with me. And it kind of the dissonance between, like, this is the happy ending of a musical, but it's not landing that way for me. And the other one is the 1986 film Flight of the Navigator, which I learned in talking about this and this feeling I had watching it, that Dustin had a similar feeling. So we can return to that in a moment. But that movie is about this kid, David, who falls in the forest and wakes up like 8 years in the future. And he doesn't really know how or what's happened. There's a spaceship involved, but the big thing that stuck with me is his younger brother, Jeff, who we see at the beginning, like annoying him in a typical 80s way, like, shut up, jerk. Then is his older brother. And something about that was so compelling, but scary. The idea of time moving on without you. And suddenly, like, this complete role reversal where your younger brother is your older brother. That was very, very terrible to consider. And so once I had this kind of time loop idea, like, what if you're stuck at 16? Then I thought, oh my gosh, I could finally deal with this feeling and explore this feeling from Flight of the Navigator, where your younger brother, which is Lincoln Cohen in this book, who was 13, becomes your older brother. Because, sorry, I should back up and just say in the story, Carter Cohen, every time he's about to turn 17, he wakes up fully thinking he's about to turn 16, and physically and emotionally, mentally is back at the beginning of 16. So he's looping, but meanwhile, the world keeps moving on without him. So when the book starts, it's his 6th time looping on 16. He should be 22, but he's not. His parents look a little older to him because they are 6 years older. And he's looking around for his 13-year-old brother, Lincoln, and they're like, Lincoln's not here. He's actually in college now. So all of the Peter Pan and Flight of the Navigator fueled nightmares went into this book, which is also a funny book, but allowed me to explore all of that.
It also, in modern pop culture, I feel like the MCU also tackled a lot of that uncomfortableness with the blip logic, right?
Yes, the blip. Yes.
Like when everyone came back from the blip at the same age, but it's 5-6 years later.
That's so true. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, like I remember watching that in theaters and being like, oh, like that was my Flight of the Navigator moment, was watching that and imagining that I just like disappear and reappear, and suddenly it's like 7 years into the future or whatever, and everybody's older, but no time has passed for me. Like I was like, that would take years of therapy to be able to move forward from that point. So Dustin, you also had some Flight of the Navigator fears and anxiety.
Yeah, well, I got lost a few times as a kid, not for a long time, but it was enough where I was kind of like, what can I do? I was like, what would happen, when you get lost? Like, where do you obviously know your phone number and your address, but it was also a lot of stranger danger, in the 80s too. So you couldn't approach just anyone. It had to be someone with a uniform. But I thought about, your home is kind of your foundation and where you always go. Like I can always get my way back home. But in Flight of the Navigator, he goes home and his family doesn't live there anymore, because time has passed. So then what do you do?
Yeah.
And also, is he crazy because he's manufacturing this idea that like, I used to live here, and like, no, honey, you don't, like, this isn't your house. And, yeah. And so those ideas were always, really terrifying as a kid. Who are you if if you don't identify as this person who lives here, and if is your family alive? Who knows? Yeah.
I had one of the craziest, I think about this in the moment, and it was scary in the moment. Now I think about it looking as a 40-year-old, and I'm like putting myself in my parents' shoes, and it's the most like just terrifying concept in the world. But I got lost when I was 5. My parents had taken me to my cousin's house for a birthday party, and I wanted to see they were going to have a clown at the birthday party, or a magician, and I really wanted to see the magic show. So they agreed that I could spend the night there so I wouldn't miss the magic show, because they had to leave. And when they left, I was playing out back with all of my cousins, but I was the youngest. So they all rolled away on skateboards and bikes, and I was chasing after them to catch up. But I didn't know the area, and I got completely lost and was just wandering this neighborhood by myself. And a guy in a truck pulled up beside me and was like, "You look lost." And I said, "I am." And he said, "Let me take you to the police station." And apparently I said to him, "Are you a good guy or a bad guy?" And he said, I'm one of the good guys. I want to help you. And I just got into this stranger's truck, and he drove me to the police station. But then the police officer was like, "Well, what's your number and address?" And I gave him the information, but I lived 30 minutes from my cousin's house.
Right.
So they're just they're like, "How did this kid they were under the impression I just wandered like a 30-minute drive."
Right.
But my mom said, like, at that time, she was getting phone calls from my aunt that they couldn't find me. And then shortly after that, a phone call from the police, like, "Hey, we have your son. He's at this police station." Like, but that's, I'm like,
nuts.
At the time, I'm just like a little kid, just like, like not a care in the world. I put myself in the reverse of that. I would have a heart attack and die right there on the floor if we got a phone call that one of my girlfriend's kids was just missing and no one knew where they were. Like, it is such a traumatic, scary thing, no matter what age you are, to be lost or to have lost somebody. But then you depict it in something like this, where I'm assuming your main character is fully aware that he should be 17 by now, or does he not remember that time?
No, it has to be explained to him
every time.
Every time. Yes.
That's even more upsetting.
It's very upsetting. And in a way, it's like this main character, Carter, like has a medical condition in a way, when it's an inverted time loop in this way where everybody else knows what's happening, but he doesn't. It's more like, oh, something is wrong.
You've really kind of flipped Groundhog Day in a completely different direction. You know what I mean? Like, because Groundhog Day, it's about Bill Murray's insanity, knowing that he's reliving this over and over again. And now it's like, no, this is almost worse. That you have to, it's like 51st Dates. You have to relearn everything every single day.
Completely. His memories go up to the last night of being 15. And then anything that happens after that, year after year, it just keeps erasing.
Which makes that night before your birthday so much more traumatic, because at this point, you've spent a year being informed by your family, like, hey, I mean, hopefully you'll turn 17 tomorrow, but chances are you're going to forget all of this has happened.
Terrible. And so the other element of the book is that during the last loop, the fifth loop, Carter fell in love with Maggie Spears. She fell in love with him. and they hoped maybe they could figure out how to get him to 17. Like maybe, we're gonna think this through, but they don't. So when the book starts, he has just looped back again, and Maggie Spear, who Katie is reading in the audiobook, sees Carter in the hallway. He has no idea who she is. It's completely devastating. And she's like, I can't do this again. We're going to start over. I'm going to just keep, building a relationship and then having to like start fresh every year. I'm not going to do it. And so that's where the book starts. But they are drawn back together again, as you
I love this concept so much. So is the book itself just over this one particular year, or do we get multiple years out of it?
The book is over this 1 year.
Okay.
But Dustin's chapters as Lincoln being the sibling who's seen this all unfold since he was 13, he gets to kind of bring us up to speed on some of what's happened in the past loops.
You're juggling a lot, but you can still squeeze in a financial plan. With the Northwestern Mutual Financial Advisor as your partner, it's not only possible, it's personalized. So if you're tying the knot, closing on a house, or welcoming a little one, you'll be ready for whatever life tosses your way. It's the right time to feel less stressed and more certain. That's a better way to money. Let's get started at nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze.
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come baby come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come baby come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Baby, come, baby, baby, come, come.
Katie and Dustin, are there anything, when you're doing these characters, is there anything from your personal life that you're pulling from to get yourself in the mind space of these characters?
That's a great question. You know, surely yes. I mean, because I watched the writing of this book happening in real time, and so was
and you contributed, talking out many conversations about how this would work, what this would look like.
right. Was listening to Lance on his own loops and getting stuck, and so I certainly felt. When we were directed by this wonderful director, Paul Rubens.
Another Rubin.
Just Rubin, but spelled differently.
I'm thinking of
not Pee Wee, right?
I'm thinking of
Not
Pee Wee, but
Pee-wee.
it's Paul Rubin.
It is.
Pee Wee came back to life to direct
just
this book.
to do this.
That's
He
right.
was so
It was
enticed
really-
by the concept.
I just wanted to summon him for this moment. But
Side note, just Paul Rubens does
Voice
the voice
of a
the
robot in
spaceship
Flight of the
Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was
okay.
gonna say, it all
that's
ties
why
together.
I made
It's
that
all,
error.
it's all
funny.
looping upon itself.
But he was, asked all of us to really like summon as much angst as we could, and that was certainly the experience for Lance of writing the book. And so I came into the recording with awareness of that, and also I just, I'd never seen Flight of the Navigator. I did see Mary Martin's Peter Pan, but my perspective on the character in the book, is more that of the 16-year-old girl who's hoping that 16-year-old boys in her company could mature a little faster. And so I could bring that into the part in my memories of what that time was like.
Absolutely.
But then it ended up being like a really emotional recording experience because there's a lot of other stories. Kind of Maggie's story and her family story is a really big part of the book, which I just love. And I found myself like kind of overwhelmingly moved as the book progressed in the recording studio. Even though I'd read the book a couple of times, it was like a totally different experience.
I love that. Dustin, was there a lot that you had to channel in voicing the brother to your actual brother, or?
It's so interesting. I've been thinking a lot about family dynamics because I think especially around the holiday time, how like people, you grow up, your family of origin, you never really mature past certain relationships. In other words, like I've seen like adult siblings like fight, like adults in their 40s, like fight about things like, well, my dad could beat up your dad. And you're like, you're actually like there is no, a lot of times there is no evolution, right? In how certain relationships progress. And it's kind of interesting, or just why people find parents to be toxic because they immediately go into this thing because a parent can't see you as anything beyond you being their child. A lot of times. So the Lincoln and Carter dynamic is very interesting because when the younger brother becomes the older brother and the older brother doesn't have any memory of it, Carter is always kind of in this place. He's a little douchey because he's the older brother who's always picking on the younger brother. He never evolves because he can't. And so then the older brother is, so Lincoln has a lot of like things that he's keeping inside that he's never said, to Carter because I don't want to, like he's now a kid. So it's kind of like looking at it like the perspective of like, yes, you are still my older brother, but you're not because you have none of these experiences. You don't have any memories of these things. And it's kind of like all the things that are not said that eventually do get said, and kind of drawing into those ideas of like, all right, well, I'm just going to let him have it now.
Yeah.
I've been respectful. I've been trying to, but he like, this isn't your fault. You don't remember these things, but also, I'm not your baby brother anymore. Yeah. I'm not.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm very excited for people to check out this book. I appreciate you guys finding a couple minutes to join me so we can talk about it, promote it, all that good jazz. This is the first episode of the new year for YAOK. We'll be back with our co-hosts, Eric and Alyssa, hopefully in 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. And Lance, one last time, where can people go if they want to get a copy of the book? Is it available in all bookstores? Is it something that you got to go to a website?
It's available all the places, Matt. But if you're confused, go to lancerubin.com. You will see 16 Forever on there, right on the homepage, and you can find all the order links. I always encourage people to go to their local independent bookstore if you have one. And if they're not carrying it, just ask them. I'm sure it'll be in the store within a few days. Or last thing, you can order a signed copy by ordering from my local independent bookstore, Community Bookstore, in Park Slope, Brooklyn. You can, in the order notes, just say I want it signed and personalized, and I will do that when it gets into the store, and then they'll ship it to you.
Amazing. And Dustin and Katie, is there anything coming up for you guys that you want to promote real quick before we wrap up?
Dustin, you go first.
Is there anything? It's always a great question. Not really. Yeah, it's a quiet January. Yeah, you caught me off guard.
I'm sorry. Listen, I will tell you that I proudly brag that I will go into every Spirit Halloween, and if I see that ringleader, I step on it, and then I point to people and say, I know the voice of that.
There you go. Yeah, I voiced the ringleader at Spirit Halloween. Yup, I voice Jake from State Farm's dog, if you catch him. There's a lot of commercial stuff, and got some video games coming out, but I can't talk about them because when you sign 700 NDAs and then they sue you.
Yeah,
so
that's
hopefully soon.
You've got a lot coming, just nothing you can talk about.
Exactly. Always.
And Katie?
Yeah, I'm recording a book that's going to be out in April by this writer, Kim Michelle Richardson. This is maybe the fourth book of hers that I've narrated. And it's called These Mountains We Call Home, I think. But she's just a lovely writer. And she has a well-known book, The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. So if people are looking to hear me do a pretty thick Appalachian accent, it's historical fiction set in Appalachia about a blue woman, a woman whose skin appeared blue because of a blood disorder. And she was also a librarian who traveled by mule and delivered books. Anyway, it's a really interesting book and series of books. So I would just tell people to go look for that.
All right. I'm going to ask you to do something for us to wrap this up. In your best Appalachian voice, can you just say like, share, and subscribe to YA OK?
Well, yes, I will try, but you can also cut it.
All right.
Like, share, and subscribe to YA OK.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze.
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass to Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come, baby, come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.